Smacking, cracking, and watching. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe. New Netflix season, another original. Netflix has done it again. Alias Grace. I'm reviewing the whole thing. What I won't do is go episode by episode. I can't do it. It just takes too dang on long. So I'm just going to knock out this whole season. One go. Y'all ready? Let's get to it. We start off in Canada, Kingston, at this prison. Kingston, Ontario, Canada. As Max, we're Max. This chick was in Max. Let's not get it twisted. This is where some serious murderers, or in this case, murderess, because evidently there's a difference. This is where they are housed. Introduced to our main character, Grace Marks. First of all, I love shows like this. I really enjoy watching TV shows that are set like this, different. It kind of put me in my feelings how I felt about Copper. Did you guys watch Copper a couple years ago? So basically, Grace is a murderer, man. She's a murderer, actress, singer, poetess. She's very intelligent. She's not she's not telling everything about herself. And this series, we're basically exploring her as a woman and what she's went through in her life early on to how she ended up doing a double murder, man. She ended up committing a double murder, and it was messed up, man, because she was subjected to be a maid, and it was like a zoo-like environment to where she's this major attraction and she's enslaved almost, but she's a prisoner, and they got her doing chores at the governor's house. She's this big, nasty spectacle. Bogus. They treated her like a gallery almost, and she's low-key famous. Everybody knows what she did. She killed people. Don't get it twisted. She threw somebody down some stairs, man. Tied him up. Did a vicious crime. Pretty little killer. Episode 1, they introduce us to this young American doctor, Dr. Jordan, and he's cute. Easy on the eyes, playboy. He's basically hoping to help her and introduce some new methods because we saw some head measuring going on, vintage crazy contraptions, devices, very creepy things that lobotomy almost types, crazy things that doctors used back then. And we saw a whole lot of flashbacks with strong arming people, torture devices, lots of straps, screaming, some scary areas of history that they're diving into and showing. And all of that foul stuff going on. And here comes Gentle Jordan with his beets and apple method to everything. I wondered at one point in episode number 1, would Grace kind of fall for him in that save me fantasy, you know? I also wanted to know out the gate, what made this chick loco? What made her crazy to go off and kill 2 people like that? The confinement in this show, the social isolation. She didn't do it solo dolo. She did it with another guy, McDermott, I believe his name was, and he got hung. They chose to string him up, but send her to jail for a whole lot, send her to prison for a whole lot of years. So like I said, how this show is filmed, they have a governor's mansion with beautiful, beautiful furniture and artwork in the background. We also have this prison setting. We have this whole boat situation in episode number 1 as well, on this crazy, not unfantastic voyage. Let's talk about the quilt real quick. The quilt was pretty powerful and very meaningful because it was used as a flag. They told what it means to women and what it means to life, and you never really paid attention to bedding, really. I mean, as far as a bed, because it is all of those things. It was just an eye-opener. What did you think about that scene? It's used for so many areas. It's used for so many areas of our lives. It was just super interesting. We learned a lot about Grace in the intro episode because she kind of crazy. Grace told Dr. Jordan, "Are you laughing at me?" And she was holding a little sewing device, scissors. And I'm like, oh, snap. What is she capable of doing, right? Then she said she thought about pushing her siblings off the boat just to prevent their pain. Then she went a little far, man, with almost smashing her daddy's head with that big old pot full of ashes. Like, we know he was very, very abusive to you, and we'll touch on that in a second. Let's talk about this voyage, this unfantastic Irish voyage to a place of opportunity. It was horrible, yes. It was very bad conditions. I'm guessing it was voluntary because it looked voluntary. Like, they all got on. They wanted to get on the boat. Unlike the African voyage that folks endured, where we ain't got to go there, okay? It sucked to see how her mental health was messed up. It also sucks to see her mother pass away. When her mother died and they put the chains on her and just threw her off the boat, that was a little, it touches your heart. You know, they do it so the bodies don't float back up. When everyone finally touched down and they had this drastic culture shock and she was forced to play mama, her dad was so freaking abusive to her, and she just was hit with so many opportunities of, should I run away? Should I hurt this man? Did he sexually abuse her? Or was it just a thought? Obviously, the emotional and the physical abuse was there. The clothing on the show was pretty cool. The clothing on the show and the angles that they're shooting are pretty dang on good. Down to the canes that people are walking with, the dirtiness, class, I should say. You can clearly see the distinction amongst it. Horses. The sounds, if you close your eyes, you can hear the galloping. You can hear people walking on the porches in the wood ground versus gravel, walking through hallways. Shot pretty good. I did not watch Handmaid's Tale. I wanted to so bad, but something came up and I was unable to do it. But I know a lot of people are comparing. The friendship of Mary and Grace, yes, I changed my hat. The friendship of Mary and Grace is fun with the side of jealousy a little bit, right? The apple peeling was a great scene. Apple peeling with one stroke. It almost felt like to me like a Disney movie. I just wanted the song to drop, like la 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 la. It was beautiful. It was a very cute scene. Jeremiah, she's saying, will be here tomorrow for the letter J. And then in my head, I'm like, hey, there's another J, because McDermott, we know, was a guy who got strung up there. James McDermott has to do with him, so technically she was correct. It just wasn't for Mary. Very, very sad though to see her try like 3-4 times and she just couldn't get the stroke, cutting the apple. Powerful scene. It was a very powerful, beautiful scene. Her period arrived. Oh, it's that time of the month, and we all know what that's like. Well, some of the folks viewing this video will not ever get a period. Consider yourself lucky. Cramps are brutal. I had to remember at one point, her mother passed away. She did not have that woman-to-woman conversation that most people have. Most people have the opportunity to learn what happens with the body from their mother, a sister, a friend, auntie, grandma. Someone usually is there to teach them the ways of womanhood. And she never was taught about her monthly flow and cramps and what to do. And here Mary is. She steps in, same age bracket, friend to friend, showing her what to do. Mary is sweet, but she's troubled. She's a different type of woman. Mary's a different type of woman. She's lonely. She's very, very wise, but she just wants to be loved and to have fun at the end of the day. Beautiful scene. Another one, the holiday gift exchange. That was off the chain. But after a while, things just changed. The jokes stopped. The games ceased. And homeboy got her pregnant, gave her $5 and said, make it how you can. Bogus! He had the abortion at the makeshift OBGYN office. I can't believe it. It was another movie out there where this chick had an abortion. It was like a hanger. If y'all know what movie I'm talking about, drop a comment below. Literally hurt my stomach. I almost wanted to throw up. The scene was either proving that Grace was naive or she just really didn't know about things that happen in the world. It got us in the chest again when she said, are you playing again? Because we know that she in the kitchen. Mary! For that mother to come in there and say, oh, no sense crying over spilt milk. Psh, like, for real? Straight up, that's how you're talking? How disrespectful is this lady? Blaming Grace at one point. Not to say anything about your son, it takes two. She was hating on him, she was hating on Mary the entire time. Then she wants to hush it and sweep it under the table, sweep it under the rug. Nobody talk about this again. That lady, mommy, whatever they calling her, it's only a matter of time before something bad happens to the lady. I'm just saying. Grace fell out twice. Fell out twice in shock. And I mean, the chick, you knew it was gonna happen, because when her mother passed away, she dang there had a panic attack, and the lady gave her some sort of like liquor to cope, and now she's kind of feeling the same way minus the drink, and she just has these spells to where she just falls out. It sucked. Some other things in episode 2 that I thought were off the chain was a burning pudding. Never heard of that before. Those who have at a dinner, and then we see those who really kind of sort of have not at a dinner table setting. It was a very nice scene. The icicles Will it come into play later on in the season? Will we see George again? I don't know. Episode 2 is definitely about friendship and Mary. It's like they said, a very, very, very great quote this episode. The one who strikes the blow is not the actual murderer. They cut to that basement. We saw that cellar door or whatnot. And that's probably the same place that somebody went, like 007 backwards. Bogus to see the guards tearing up Grace like that, just being abused after she just poured her heart out. She's being abused. But our boy from Kingsman the movie is watching her, Dr. Jordan. So will he help her? Eventually she'll get out. Eventually. But she's going to serve some hard time. Let's get in episode 3. Isn't it funny how like the fruits and vegetables play such a deep role into this show? We've had beets, we've had apples, and then all of a sudden there's parsnips involved, and we're talking about what's involved inside of that cellar, and they just keep replaying the sounds, and you hearing the thumps of Nancy falling down the steps, and who really pushed her down the steps. That is what I find to be so intriguing about this show. Okay, so George started off with, when he came home from college, he was so fresh, he was so vibrant, and then when Mary left him, he just got troubled and creepy and worried. A predator, you know. He was just creepy, and the best thing for her to do at that moment probably was to leave. They accepted financial security for her silence. What's the girl to do? So insert new character, Thomas Canary. Thomas Canary, we know what happened to him. But the crazy thing is when we're introduced to him, he's portrayed to be this hero, this nice looking older hero for her. Then we start seeing all these flashbacks with Nancy with a little cut in her head. And later on we see a big cut and blood just gushing out of this nasty gash. But the roses play such a big role. And some of my favorite scenes have been involved in the garden and the snails moving. So gorgeous. And Nancy is Rogue. If y'all familiar with X-Men, that's Rogue. Isn't that crazy? She's been in almost every X-Men movie that's been dropped since like 2000. Very great actress. However, on here, hella shady. Super dangerous, man. Very jealous. She has a little thing for Thomas in episode 3. You can tell she has a thing for Thomas. And later on, her character just develops evil-like and hateful and just not cool. And her face even changed. She went from being so beautiful to the angrier she got, the more hateful she got, the more pale her skin got. And we know why, because she was prego. She was taking this I'm the lady of the house thing a little bit too far, but at the same time, she's in the same boat as Grace. I really felt like it seemed like she did not want Grace getting close to anyone, because every time Grace, soon as Grace would make contact with someone or have a moment, here go Nancy popping up. She was the interruption queen. McDermott, his character, he just mad at everybody. He's just angry. He's a drunk. He doesn't do well in anyone's eyes on the show. He's got some mental health issues too. And we finally figure out in episode 3 for sure that the cellar was at Canary's house on his property where that drop door is located. I thought the whole magazine for toilet paper was a pretty good scene. When you for sure learn that, okay, Grace is very smart and she's not going to tell Jordan she's not going to tell him everything. She's setting him up to know whatever she wants to, and she's almost feeding him a story so he can find comfort. It's not for her story to be out to everyone, the truth. I don't even know if we know the truth right now with what was told. Grace is off the chain because through this whole interview process, she is sewing her face away, and I was just waiting for her to get startled and poke her hand, but that hand is so steady and she doesn't skip a beat. She doesn't miss a beat. She's our narrator, and we're following all of this stuff with her. Episode 4. Extra piece of bread will get you some serious beat down. This prison, they will beat you for grabbing an extra piece of bread. It's just violent. Like I said, remember, this is Max. She may go to the governor's mansion and clean and be over there amongst the haves who can, but the have-nots over in that jail, in that prison, is vicious. It's vicious. In the very beginning, I thought Grace would be so fixated on Dr. Jordan, but it's the other way around. He's fixated. He's infatuated with her. He's having these daydreams of having some serious, intimate times with her and cuddling with her, being with her, connecting the way that he wants to. That this whole process is messing with his head. Maybe pure at heart. The scene with the killing of the chicken, very interesting because brutal, showing that axe and just take a strong whack. Nancy got so physical. That's when it kind of a trigger happened for her. She pushed that girl, and she didn't have to do that. It just shows, hey, she's a little bit crazy. And Grace finally was able to speak up for herself. I think that was the first time she ever did. More about divine Grace. That was deep. Grace got tired of Nancy's mess, though, man. And she said, scrub it yourself. And Nancy slapped that fire off of her cheeks. You know what was shady? What was shady was for you to grab that ham slice and eat it after she was trying to cut it. It was her day. And, you know, you kind of, like I said, messed her up in the head. And Nancy took that ham slice like an animal. It's crazy. But, you know, when you're pregnant, your hormones are all over the place, too. But that does not give her an excuse to treat that girl like that. I say he's a super drunk, angry man. But he said something, or do we know he really said it? But at that moment, what came out of his mouth was, they deserve to be knocked down. They deserve to be knocked down and thrown down into the cellar. Both of them had this idea. And how can we know the truth? Because she plays too much. She, as in Grace. Grace plays too much with the stories. We don't know. Jamie's a sweet neighbor guy. This young helper with good hands and a good heart. And he's crushing on Grace. And it's not really mutual. She's saying she's older than him, but they're not really too much of an age difference. There's another Jay. She's surrounded by all these Jays. She got Jeremiah, Jamie, and McDermott. Mary was right some sort of way. I don't know. Jeremiah reminds me of the hypnotist on the TV show Gotham in his peddler state, not when he was Dr. DuPont. He has the info. He brings the info. He has the tea. He knows the gossip about Canary. He knows about everybody, actually. He's talking about a man's habit, taste, and he's warning her. And he's like, hey, just come with me to America. She ends up not going. And Grace really has this whole issue with doctors and knives and leather bags. She said it multiple times because, it's like I said, it's a lot of torture type stuff going on. Can you blame her? Nancy. Like I said, I knew Nancy was sick. She was pale. She's pregnant. She said some real foul things. Close your mouth because it will catch flies. The sayings in here, the snapbacks, the clapbacks, the joning on each other, they are on it. Another point of, outside of the ham, the slap, the ruining of her birthday, watching her, Thomas getting a little weird on her. She overheard boss and his mistress, aka the lady master or whatever, their feelings and how they felt about her, how they felt about getting rid of McDermott like nothing because they're caught in their undercover love. So she has this crazy dream, man, and all the men in her life, all her crushes are in that scene, and it was one of the most powerful creative scenes on this whole episode. She's saying angels in the trees, headless ones, and it ended up being just blown away laundry. Whoa, was spectacular. What did y'all think? Drop a comment below. Look, Thomas really proved his transition from hero to sicko when he was so turned on by her dirty, filthy, dingy feet. That was gross. I forgot to mention the quotes in the beginning of every episode that are so powerful and knocking you in the head with knowledge. That is very, it's cool because it jumpstarts every journey. Like when a battery's dead and you got the cables, that's how it starts it off. Episode 5, we're at episode 5. They treated Nancy like that chicken. Same way Jamie snapped that neck off and chopped it. That's how they treated Nancy down in that cellar, man. You know, at this episode 5, we're basically chasing a whisper and a man in the night trying to figure it out. And I'm like, look, lady, whoever this lady is at Dr. Jordan's home, she's been trying this whole season to get with him, trying to link her and man, trying to connive her way into a situation so she could probably leave and go back to the States in a better situation. But he is making her biscuits and cooking meals, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Having breakfast together, laying in bed. He's falling for her, and everybody we saw it from the very beginning. Oh, my husband left. Girl, please. She was annoying, and she's been playing him all season. Jeremiah is back and clean as a whistle, honey. Dr. DuPont, she came in there with that cake on a platter, saw him, and fainted again. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is like her 6th time fainting. Come on, girl, get it together, Grace, get it together. But yeah, bold, so bold to tell Nancy that McDermott wanted to do. Didn't matter though. And that just goes to show, too, that Nancy was a nut job because, oh, let's sleep in the bed together, even though I just hate you so much. What? Why would you do that? Another point of the show that has been very beautiful, this very enlightening scene would have to be with lights, the fireflies. And Mary was there in episode 5. Wow. And like I told you earlier, the garden scenes are my favorite with the snail. Just watching those scenes, it's just gorgeous. So Thomas came home only to get shot with the shotty. Dang. And I figured that would be the only way. You're not going to struggle with this guy. I said to myself, the moment that they knock Nancy for sure down there and start chopping, I said, okay, they're going to have to, he has to be shot. That's the only way. The next scene was a crazy injury because they sentenced Grace to death by hanging. And she fell on that sharp, they told her death by hanging, and she fell on that sharp railing, and whoa, it's like she has this horrible outcomes for her no matter what. But the key to this show is perception. Perception is everything. So they have this terrible twosome, James and Grace. They took Nancy's dress and Thomas's boots, which was nuts, heartless liars. McDermott uses these harsh words, calling her the same abusive things that her dad did, which was nuts. The show is like Mindhunter that's on Netflix, but it's like 120 years prior, okay? It was genius for Jordan to find her lawyer and get his thoughts because the lawyer thinks she fell in love with him. And the truth is they all caught feelings. Like anybody who deals with her catches feelings because she's able to spin a web of lies and deceit. Isn't that crazy though that she was never tried for Nancy? So they use hypnosis, and by they, I'm talking about the Veil and Jeremiah, aka Jerome DuPont. We just basically learned, man, that she can tease men. Curiosity killed the cat. They're using some more of those sayings. She would have kept the hanky and the earrings with her nutty self. Just cold-blooded, man. And she helped the whole strangling situation. Yikes. I am not Grace. So Mary Whitney, man, she's got these 2 personalities. I seen it coming, but I wasn't quite sure that that's what it was. Multiple personality. Wow. Jordan said it. The truth eludes me, Grace. You elude me too. She really screwed with his head, man. He went home and did the deed with old girl, and he messed her up in the head because he said, hey, I wanted to do that with somebody else, not you. Well, I mean, I wasn't shocked that she got released or whatnot because Jeremiah clearly said you need to go to America, change your name to something French, start over. I was pretty dang on shocked to know that Jordan went on to the military and they, flew ahead 11 years. And to see him in that vegetable-like sickly stage was kind of crazy for me. She got pardoned and she went on another voyage to Jamie, the guy who was the J that she could spend her life with, proposed. They're together. They're both living this American dream. And Jerome DuPont has this ad in the paper. She's got the Tree of Life quilt going on. She's talking about snakes and lies. It was a dang on good ending. They cleared it up very well. If I had to rate this season, man, I'd have to give it a 9.8. I thought it was dang there. Perfectly shot. The story was good. It switched it up at the end. And I mean, what a great story. What a great story. Netflix has done it again. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.